From those who love him to those who hate him. A look at what voters really think of President Trump on today's Keller at Large. Here's John Keller.
Good morning. You know what a Rorschach test is. Well, I guess the modern-day Rorschach test is the mention of the name Donald Trump. You get widely different reactions from different people about everything he says and does. But we're going to explore what people, Trump voters and Trump critics, are really thinking these days about the president and how they're reacting to him. With our guest this morning, we're glad to have back with us Diane Hessan. She's an entrepreneur, chair of the company C-Space, and since December of 2016, she's been in regular contact with an email list of 500 voters about current events, politics, and President Trump. Diane, welcome. First of all, good to have you back.
Nice to be back.
So just so people understand, what's the breakdown of your voter pool, and is this a scientific survey or not?
Well, you know, as a geeky researcher, I'd say 500 is kind of scientific, but it's not like polls where you're getting thousands and thousands of people. You know, what I do have are 500 voters from all ends of the political spectrum. From, you know, I love the wonderful President Donald John Trump more than anyone who's ever been president, to I think that this guy should have been impeached on day one.
Right.
Pretty even numbers of people from all states.
Okay.
All ages, you know, a good
gender distribution.
Ethnic distribution,
okay. Party,
etc.
Democrat, Republican, Independent,
yeah,
in roughly equal numbers?
No, about 40% Democrats, 40% Republicans, 10% independents, and 10% I keep shifting back and forth, and sometimes I don't vote.
So this voter pool looks at the president, and as you noted in a recent Boston Globe op-ed piece, in some ways they see dramatically different realities, particularly on the issue of dishonesty. Supposedly he's the most prolific liar we've ever had in office, but Trump supporters don't see it that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't see that he's the worst.
Okay.
Right? I mean, they listen, they make, you know, sometimes they parse things. They see a difference between him getting excited and exaggerating and outright lies.
Okay.
I think the other thing is, what I hear all the time from Trump voters is, yeah, I know he lies, but they all lie. Mm-hmm. You know, and they start saying, well, you know, Obama, he said you could keep your doctor. That was a really big lie because it affected all of us. And then they go through, you know, Bill Clinton and all of the things that he said or didn't say about Monica Lewinsky or the like. So they just believe that politicians lie, and they don't know why liberals are so upset about it.
And they're more focused on the improved economy. On the flip side, you found that liberals and Trump haters are extremely reluctant to acknowledge that the economy's doing better. Mm-hmm. What's that all about?
Well, they think the economy's doing better, but they don't think that the improvement is evenly distributed. So what they'll say is, well, the stock market is better, but most Americans don't have investments in the stock market. That the economy's better, but the rich are the ones who are really benefiting, to the detriment of the people who voted for Donald Trump. On the other hand, Trump voters are literally, two of them actually sent me copies of their pay stubs before and after, and one said, I'm getting $250 more per month, and the other said, well, actually, my daughter calculated it for me. We're getting 6 more tanks of gas per month. So they're looking at that, and very, very aware of it. And I think people who are on the other end of the spectrum just aren't thinking about it that way.
Well, we have to take a break in a moment, but you also found, perhaps for some people, surprising areas of agreement here, and you kind of concluded that cable news, the campaign ads, Facebook and social media are really giving us a distorted picture of how divided we are. Can you briefly expand on that?
Sure. I've kind of been a broken record on this as I've written all these op-eds for the Globe, but, you know, I am absolutely convinced that there's a huge amount of common ground in the country. I think there is common ground on health care, on immigration, on gun control. I could go on and on, that if we got a group of reasonable people sitting in a room for a day, we could all outline something that we could all live with. On the other hand, we perceive that the divide is huge because our media, especially cable news, is very divided, and Congress is very divided. So I think they force us to start from a point of assuming that the other side has nothing to say that we would agree with.
They create an atmosphere that might be more toxic than the reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to set us up for the second part of our conversation. When we come back, we'll talk about who might possibly bridge these gaps we're talking about in 2020. More with our guest coming up in a moment, so please stay with us.